Hey guys, it's Mountain Monday. We have a double mountain today, so everybody knows what to do. Breathe in and out. And breathe in and out. And Mountain Monday's a bit late today because I got in late last night from Keycon, which is Winnipeg's science fiction and fantasy convention. It's more focused on books, but there was some gaming and there was some movies and TV and stuff like that. Met a local gaming group out there. I think their name is Winnipeg Games Pros. Shout out to them. They seem like a cool group of guys. They were showing this mod. We're gonna move around because I don't want a guy talking over me. This is my show, damn it. And I need to up my first aid kits. But yeah, they have a local gaming group out there, and they were pretty cool. They told me that they were forced to change the name. Their name used to be Winnipeg Pro Gamers, WPG, which is a short form for Winnipeg, super clever. But then a local group that was completely unrelated to them was like, oh, hey, birdie. Was like, no, you can't use that. It's our name. And so they changed it to Winnipeg Game Pros. I think. I should have looked up the card before I talked about this. But those nice guys with the Portal Mario mod that I was talking to in the dealer's room of Keycon, hi, shout out to you. I'll have some more content from Keycon, just little snippet stuff later in the week. I've got to take it off the camera and process it and all that good stuff. See if it's watchable, because I'm not very good at camera, but I did it because I was the only one out there. So this weekend was pretty chill because I was at Keycon, but there was one moment that kind of threatened to mess with my zen, but it did not. It was the fact that I did a feminism and science fiction panel at Keycon. For those of you who don't know what panels are, they're little 3 or 4 person discussions about a given topic. That's self-explanatory, but I should define it. Hello, Momo. Come on, Momo. And it went very, very well. It was a really good panel. It's the way this stuff is supposed to work. There was discussion, there was dialogue. We agreed in advance to keep it relatively positive, not, saying nothing we didn't like, but just keeping it on an overall, what are we doing right and what could we do better, as opposed to what's wrong with things. And I thought it worked out pretty well. Momo, please don't jump up on the monitor. Momo's trying to play with the Wii U sensor. Now I know why it's constantly dangling when I come back in the room. Momo, come back here, please. Momo, come here. Come here, Momos. Yes, this is what happens when you have a very precocious cat. He interrupts you. Here comes Momo. Hello, Momos. Okay, you guys can't see any of this, but Momo just jumped up in my lap. So, the panel itself went exceptionally well. We talked about everything from, the Dragon Age series to Terry Pratchett to, and connection to the Terry Pratchett stuff. Not enough people read Terry Pratchett, in my opinion. I highly recommend Terry Pratchett's books just because they are an inspiration for a lot of things in gaming, including a lot of things in BioWare games. So, I highly recommend those. We talked about, Game of Thrones a bit. We talked about, the online stuff a bit. We briefly touched on Gamergate, but not a whole lot. It was kind of cool out there that everybody was just sort of like, people have the right to their opinion, and that's where we're going to leave it. So that was cool. Winnipeg fandom is exceptionally cool. I can't say enough about it. But then, of course, I tweeted about the experience. Oh, God. And there were 2 or 3 guys, I don't even know what they were trying to get at, who just wanted to take that opportunity to talk about the evils of feminism. And I don't know why this hasn't gotten old at this point. The idea that someone is, that something that big is inherently evil. I feel the same way about the people who just think religion is, all bad, no good. I just feel like when you're that afraid of something, you're cutting yourself off from some otherwise pretty amazing experiences, and it's your loss. Because I mean, you don't have to subscribe wholeheartedly to a belief system to learn from it. And I enjoy, learning about other ways to view the world, right, Momo? That's right. And so I found it very strange, and I realized I'm at the point where I couldn't even be bothered to block these guys. That was too much, too much effort at that time on an unstable internet connection. And I admit I can't relate to this, overwhelming urge some people have to just dump on things. I don't get it. I'll never get it. I think I'm glad I don't get it. And so that's what I wanted to touch briefly on today. To me, when you do something like that, when you jump into a conversation on Twitter just to say something is terrible, not to ask a question, not to engage in dialogue, just to mock something or say it's terrible, I think people know that's a jerk move. What I don't understand is why people think it's entertaining to jump in and ruin someone else's conversation. Like, when people like that show up, it's impossible to actually have a conversation about anything. And that's why people say, oh, Twitter's not a good medium for this thing. It's not Twitter. It's the people using it that are the problem. And that's true of any social network. That's why I don't use Facebook as much as I used to, because people are foolish about some of the things they do on these social networks. But it's not the fault of the social networks. I mean, a favorite phrase of mine is, you can't legislate against stupidity. You can't make rules for people who delight in finding ways to break those rules. And that's why I feel like the human element of these things is so important. It seems like more and more we want some, overlord or some governing body to come in and fix situations for us. When in fact, at the end of the day, it's up to us to fix the situations for ourselves. Now, some things are too big for that. Some things, that more factor into the role of government. That's a different thing. But bye Momo, thanks for visiting. For these simple community things, like who you choose to associate with on Twitter and the kind of behavior you will tolerate. These are things that we do have our power to solve. And I think too many people underestimate how much power they actually do have online, how much power those online tools give us, for better or for worse, to curate the people we associate with. And so, last week, I'm not going to say who, but somebody launched into me privately about me having too thin a skin and all this stuff. And I think people misunderstand what I'm doing when I complain about something online. It's not, if something's really serious, I don't talk about it. And I don't talk about it because I don't want to encourage people to do it. But when something happens and it happens to me and I realize, yeah, I've seen this happen to other people too. And this isn't right no matter who does it. And I happen to be fortunate enough to have a platform. Other people don't. And so I speak up against these things that I think are worth talking about for the greater good. Not necessarily because I'm horribly offended by something, but because I think, if something has pissed me off, then it's probably affected somebody else. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to speak for someone else. I don't think that's right. I think that part of the reason we've got into the culture war we're currently dealing with in video games is because too many people became de facto spokespeople for groups too diverse to have a single spokesperson. and the individual voices mattered less. It became there are people who matter and people we should listen to, and then other people who are just, who the blank are you, go make your own game, right? And so I speak out about things, not because I'm, overwhelmingly butthurt about them, but I think because there are people going through the same thing who are not in the position or not empowered or whatever fancy word you want to use to speak out about this and get any sort of traction or awareness for themselves. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to tell their story. That's their story to tell. It's my hope that in telling my story, other people will then come and tell their stories. And fortunately, that happened at Keycon. One gentleman came up to me after my Cosplay is Not Consent panel. And I've made a few changes since I used to do Cosplay is Not Consent panel. I've actively worked men into it so that the whole Cosplay is Not Consent thing comes across more as this is an issue affecting cosplayers, not an issue affecting female cosplayers with men too. And a guy came up to me afterwards and said, thanks for the presentation, it was really informative. And then he started telling me about his own personal experiences with stuff he won't wear anymore because too many women couldn't keep their hands to themselves. And he just found the whole experience so unpleasant that he just stopped wearing stuff. And I thought, yeah, that's where we're at in, this is the tricky element of the successes of feminism. This is where we're at. We are having to tweak our approach, and we are having to be more aware of the fact that as, the gender balance becomes more even, men are being affected by some of these issues now too, and they're finally feeling like they have the ability to speak up and say, I don't like this, instead of, that dreaded phrase, take it like a man. And as much as as much as I was sad that this happened to the guy, I was glad that, I in some way facilitated his ability to talk about the situation. I think that's what the dialogue in gaming and the dialogue in greater, geekdom or fandom, or whatever you ever want to call it, ideally is supposed to do, I say as I attempt to run somebody over with my car. Did I run him over? I think I did. Okay, somebody's shooting at me. So, whoa, he's got a sniper rifle. Go away. Jump. No, I gotta find my mountain. I'm not about violence. I'm about Zen. Go away. Holy crap. You notice the heals don't work as well in this DLC as they do in other places? Yeah, that's a real problem. But I'm gonna wrap here. Holy snot balls, man. Leave me alone. You're messing with my Zen. Ow. I'm gonna hide behind this rock. Okay, what the hell? Ouch. Fuck off. Alright, so that's a good place to find a mountain. Oh, hello, Yak. What? No. No. Oh, there's a sniper there. So I'm gonna find a mountain hiding behind this rock. This is highly ironic. Okay, there's a mountain. And we're gonna breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And